The ocean floor is covered in gold history and the remains of people who thought they could outrun a hurricane in a wooden boat with zero suspension. It turns out that if you leave a pile of shiny metal at the bottom of the Atlantic for 300 years, people will lose their minds trying to get it back. Every Hollywood movie has lied to you about how this works. You do not put on a tight wetsuit, dive into crystal clear tropical water, and kiss a beautiful archaeologist while pulling a perfectly preserved chest of emeralds out of a coral reef. In reality, you are a 45-year-old man with chronic lower back pain, sitting in a windowless metal room on a rusty research vessel that smells permanently of diesel fumes and cabbage. You have spent the last 6 weeks staring at a pixelated blue monitor that shows side-scan sonar data. Your knees are vibrating because the ship has been idling in place against heavy swells for 48 hours. The value promise of this career is very simple. You get to trade your youth, your sanity, and several $million of other people's money for a tiny chance at becoming a billionaire, or a 100% chance of getting sued by a European monarchy. It is the ultimate high-stakes gamble, except the casino is 2 miles deep, completely pitch black, and freezing cold. Most people think treasure hunting is an adventure. In reality, it is a glorious exercise in managing massive, life-crushing debt. Before you can even look at the water, you have to buy the gear. A deep-sea side-scan sonar array costs roughly the same as a nice suburban home, except the suburban home generally does not snap its own steel cable and sink into a marine trench because a deckhand forgot to grease a winch. If you want to actually touch anything down there, you need a remotely operated vehicle, or an ROV. These are not the cute little drones you buy at Target to annoy your neighbor's cat. These are 3-ton blocks of high-grade titanium and synthetic foam, equipped with hydraulic arms that can delicately pick up a porcelain teacup or, accidentally, crush a priceless artifact into fine dust if the operator drinks too much coffee. Operating one of these machines costs about $25,000 a day. Which means every time you blink, you just spent enough money to lease a mid-size sedan for a year. You fund this by talking to investors. Investors in deep-sea salvage are a very specific breed of human. They are usually wealthy dentists or tech executives who watched Pirates of the Caribbean 2 many times and want to tell people at cocktail parties that they own a piece of a sunken galleon. They will give you $500,000. And then they will call you at 3 in the morning to ask why you haven't found the gold yet. You have to calmly explain to a man named Gary from Ohio that the Atlantic Ocean is very big and that your sonar currently just found a dead whale. So you spend your days staring at the screen. The screen shows the bottom of the sea in shades of digital orange and yellow. You are looking for an anomaly. An anomaly is a fancy word for anything that doesn't look like mud, most of the time. The ocean floor is incredibly boring. It is just thousands of miles of gray silt where nothing has happened since the Cretaceous period. Then you see a hard edge, a straight line. Nature hates straight lines. So a straight line usually means humans were involved. Your heart skips a beat. You lean forward, spilling lukewarm coffee on your shirt. You think about the mansion you're going to buy. You think about telling Gary from Ohio to lose your number. You deploy the ROV to go down and take a look with its high-definition cameras. It takes 2 hours for the robot to sink to the bottom. 2 hours of watching a digital depth counter go down, down, down. Finally, the lights of the ROV pierce the abyssal gloom and illuminate the anomaly. It is not the flagship of the Spanish Armada. It is a washing machine from 1982. The ocean is not just a repository of history. It is the world's largest, most expensive dumpster. You will find shipping containers filled with cheap plastic sneakers. You will find discarded fishing nets that look like ghostly monsters in the dark. You will find ancient, terrifying deep-sea isopods that look like giant underwater cockroaches staring into your camera with cold, unblinking eyes. But Let's say you defy the odds. Let's say you spend 5 years eating instant noodles and dodging maritime debt collectors, and you actually find it. The Holy Grail. A Spanish galleon that sank in 1708, completely loaded with silver coins, gold bars, and chests of emeralds. The wood has been mostly eaten away by deep-sea worms, but the treasure is there, piled up in a beautiful, glittering mound of historical wealth. This is the exact moment your life becomes an absolute nightmare. Finding the treasure is actually the worst part of treasure hunting. That's because when you are looking for the gold, you are completely alone. The moment you find it, every lawyer on the planet instantly knows your location. The first entity to show up in your inbox will be the government of Spain. Spain has a very specific policy regarding shipwrecks. If it had a Spanish flag on it 300 years ago, it still belongs to Madrid. It doesn't matter if the ship was built by slaves loaded with gold stolen from the Incas and abandoned by the Spanish Navy during a storm. The lawyers will argue that the ship is a sovereign immune vessel. That means it is technically still a piece of Spanish military property, and you are just an unauthorized parking valet who touched their car. This isn't a hypothetical scenario. A company called Odyssey Marine Exploration found a wreck off the coast of Portugal in 207. They brought up $500 million worth of silver and gold coins. They flew the treasure to Florida and started celebrating. Then the Spanish government sued them in American federal court. The legal battle lasted for years. In the end, the United States Supreme Court told the salvage company to pack up all the gold, put it on a plane, and hand it over to Spain for $0. The salvage guys didn't even get a finder's fee. They just got a massive legal bill and the memory of what $500 million looks like. So you sit there on your boat looking at the monitor, realizing that your treasure is surrounded by a school of metaphorical sharks wearing expensive suits. And it's not just Spain. If the ship sank within 24 miles of any country's coast, that country will claim it. If the treasure was originally mined in Peru or Colombia, those countries will claim it. If your investors find out you found it, they will sue each other to determine who gets the biggest share of the nothing you are about to receive. Consider the San José galleon off the coast of Colombia. It is widely considered the holy grail of shipwrecks, carrying a treasure estimated to be worth up to $17 billion. It was located years ago. Is anyone rich from it? No. It is currently trapped in an international legal death match involving Colombia, Spain, an American salvage consortium, and indigenous groups. The treasure is just sitting down there in the mud, completely unmovable, because the paperwork required to lift one gold coin would destroy an entire rainforest. So what about you? Are you the type of person who would risk everything to find a fortune you probably won't be allowed to keep? Or are you happy just looking for quarters in the couch cushions? Let me know down in the comments. In the end, the deep sea has a way of keeping what belongs to it, whether it's a chest of gold, a multi-million-dollar robot, or your 20s. Turn off the sonar, set a course for port, and pray the check from Gary clears before the fuel bill arrives.